Stormtrooper with Josh Fischel was crazy from Bargain Music.
Yeah. Yep. So we got the origin of meeting Josh and meeting Bargain Music, which is kind of crazy too, because you got like Trey from Falling Idols, which Sublime covered Falling Idols from the Black album, or Robin the Hood.
Exactly. Two bands that we toured with.
Yeah.
Sublime covered one song of each of those bands on that tour.
But Stormtrooper had a double life because it came out on that EP that was put out on the Cat Piss studio version.
Sorry. That's all we remember.
Sorry, Toshlin. And then which was put out for Warped Tour 2001.
The Volcom EP.
Which didn't have Josh, that first original version.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So the original version was just your fucking sick.
I think it was different lyrics and stuff
sick fucking Star Wars, fucking sick fucking like Stormtrooper, kind of like it is now, but
I think different lyrics on some of it too, because I remember Dub Nasty, Pepper's longtime buddy, but also sound guy, touring partner, engineer, everything. We love you, Dub. He was like, I remember somewhere he was like, "Bruh, it's kind of whack lyrics in the what on one of the verses of that old version." I was like, what?
Dub is my true north. Kind of like you ask Dub like anything, and he's like, or like, "Oh, bro, that's pretty sick."
Yeah. If he's into it, he's like, but he's like, "Bro, song, it's mental," but like that kind of cracked me early on. I was like, oh. So when it came time to do that, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I listened to him with it, and he's looking at me. I was like, "Oh, bro, that is pretty weak, huh?" So thank Jesus and Josh Fischel. When it came time to record that goddamn song again, not only do we have better lyrics, but our first feature. This is our first feature of any artist coming in with us.
Right.
But we loved Josh. We weren't just a fan of his music. We loved Josh and all those guys, and he was all of our dear friend and taught us a lot about music.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot in that studio session with him.
And didn't it happen like pretty organically where he just came by? Like it wasn't like, "Hey Josh, we do a feature on this song."
No,
right?
It was kind of weird. How do you ask somebody
So
that?
we asked him to come down and record at Volcom.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, "Hey, will you do this part in the song?" He's like, "Absolutely." Yeah. And he wrote the lyrics.
Oh, I remember this
while
story,
he's driving.
Yeah.
Wrote the lyrics from Long Beach to Newport.
Yeah.
Dude.
And when he got there, he had just finished. He's like, "Okay, I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
And then it was like really witnessing someone like who can sing, who can really sing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And we're just watching him, and he like belts this thing out.
Yeah.
And I think it was like one take.
Yeah. Kravak's like, finally, someone that can actually.
Thank you.
That's what I was going to say.
I think that's what he said, actually.
And keep in mind, Josh is like 6'4".
Yeah.
Just a commanding presence, crazy voice, crazy energy.
A 6'4" troubadour
if
who
you
can
will.
barely play guitar.
Look that up on Bargain Music. But you're so right. He changed it because Kravak was like, "Oh God, a musician showed up to the Pepper sessions."
Yeah.
And we were like,
That actually might be an accurate quote.
maybe it was, but we felt so good. We felt like, he's our big brother. Because he was. He was like 20,
He was, 100%.
15, 20 years older than us.
Yeah.
An accomplished, like you said, a singer. I didn't know he went to college for vocals.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even go to college for? Anyway, incredible. Changed the dynamic. And he also had his melodica, which was so sick.
Yeah.
Which, he would dub that out with this
Throwback
Roland
to
SH1, or sorry, the Space Echo.
Throwback to Augustus Pablo.
Another one of the records we would have never heard without Nur, obviously.
Yep.
And he came in, he one take wondered it, but then he also had he knew what he wanted to do with the background vocals and what he wanted to do, harmonies on my verses and what he wanted to do with the chorus.
Especially the ending of that song.
The ending of the song was great too, because he kicked ass.
Yeah.
He kicked ass so hard and added so much to existing that when it came time to do that part, because we asked him to write another part, I think, right? Because he kind of did the "I believe I'll interject." and all that.
Yeah.
I think he might have either done that or did more. Maybe he just winged it. I don't know.
So, yeah.
But we were so inspired by him in the moment there. Steve Kravak was blown away.
It was magic that day.
It was really magic that day. It happened right down in Volcom. If you ever want to go see it, guys, head down there.
Yeah.
But he did that. He impacted us. Exactly. And they made the record so much more. It validated the record in a way for me in a different way. It was like, wow, we never had a feature. We didn't even think of it. We just wanted our friend to put his fingerprints on because we loved his music, right?
100%.
And we wanted to share
Long
that.
time Pepper fans.
Yeah.
That's it doesn't get better. for them. And also too, like if you play that like we just did getting off a tour, if you play that live and at the end, the na-nas, okay?
Yeah.
It's so easy to get into because it's very Hey Jude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's so easy that this is the first Pepper time, your first Pepper concert. Right. You're just gonna start singing. It's my favorite part is at the end at the Nas where like you're just looking at people that if they have never heard the song before, they're singing the end. And that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like to this day.
And that wouldn't have happened without Josh.
Without Josh,
Fischel,
it wouldn't have happened.
Which is incredible.
And that's how Josh lives through.
I know.
You know?
Forever.
We get to be a part of. Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Good job, dudes.
And what an honor
Thank you, Josh.
What an honor to have him live through any part of us.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This whole ride, boys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Whole ride.
Oh, so next
Brings us where?
next we got Hose.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Which was another one that had two lives because I'm pretty sure that was on the EP for Warped Tour as well. Which
we did. Yes.
did Hose change that? Did Hose change the least through all its?
I'm pretty sure that's a correct statement.
Right?
Yeah. And only because I remember again the fight battling.
Oh, here we
back
go.
Yeah.
This.
Here we
Oh my.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's what I like to listen to.
Yeah,
And he's like, did you ever think about who else would like to listen to it?
that's got to be a direct quote.
Guys, this is not an exaggeration because fuck.
But you know that was so beautiful because it was like such a hurt.
Yeah.
But personally, great to toughen up.
Yeah.
Because I had to draw the line of like, yeah, actually, this one's for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
You guys don't have many songs anyway, so I guess it'll make the album.
Yeah.
You guys have thick skin because I would have fucking bailed if he said that.
Oh,
I
it
would've
was.
fucking- I'm glad he didn't tell me because he's like, this is the weakest link. Over
It was so great.
Jesus, I think
so-
I remember you telling me that before.
Oh, bro, it was
and you were like,
so, yeah.
"What the fuck?"
And then he's just like, well, he's like, what? How many instruments can we put on this? I'm like, I just want to like keep it like 3.
We're
Yeah.
a three-piece, man.
She's like, this can't happen.
Yeah.
We're at least putting keyboards on it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
And then I was like, can the keyboards just keep doing the same thing on the
Yeah.
guitar? And he's like, yeah, all right. And then when it came to mixing time, like well, the pre-mix, not the final mix.
Yeah.
It was like, can we bring the keyboards down just a little bit? Just a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like to the point where I'm like,
Okay.
is that a guitar and key or is that
Nice.
just,
Yeah.
Upped your game.
It was
by
just
using-
sneaky. I started like, oh, I see your tricks.
Yeah.
Let me start using those against you.
And then who was the trumpet guy?
Oh, Willie
Waldman.
Waldman, who used to play with Jane's Addiction.
Right. And when he came from, did he come from Josh too?
I'll tell you what he came. He came to the studio drunk. That's 100% what happened.
Hammered, but also
Crushed it.
but also he was a real musician.
You can hear the whiskey coming out.
Who? But who did KROQ know him? Or who?
I don't know that.
I thought he was
don't know the
I thought he
connection.
was a Long Beach guy for some reason.
He could be.
Yeah.
I don't know the connection there.
He was hammered.
Yeah.
But when he came in, KROQ was like still like
A real musician.
Yeah, another one.
Well, he played
I don't
great.
care if you're hammered.
I just know he got along great with us. He wasn't a dick.
Yeah.
He blended right in. He liked to drink in the
was-
studio.
he was-
So
yeah.
we was like,
That was so Hose was actually a poem.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just like used like Weezer, Say It Ain't So.
Yep.
That chord progression.
Yep.
oh yeah,
Yep.
nice.
Yep.
I just used that chord
Yeah,
progression.
and you got to think that song definitely has some older connections too, just judging by the lyrics, because you got like the Hilton Tram in there.
Oh,
you got
that's
like
what I
all,
was gonna say.
it's like a
That's
lot of stuff. That,
I'm calling
that
it an anchor track.
Yes,
like
definitely
similar
an
to like
anchor
a Trade
track.
Winds. That's an anchor track.
Yeah.
1 foot back in Kona there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
One
that.
Foot back in Kona. A lot of the stories of things we used to do when we were
Exactly.
growing
People could
up.
catch
Which is why
on.
KROQ really couldn't understand it.
100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's just, I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
got on later. Hey, some of my
hey, come
favorite
on.
lyrics.
Yeah,
Come on, don't worry about that. You'll get it.
But it's that was a already finished one.
Yeah, that was great.
Not
Yeah.
too much work.
Yeah, that one seemed like from that Warped Tour EP to the Kona Town track. It just seemed like it just sonically upped its game, where it didn't really change much as far as the structure of the song or the meat and potatoes.
It's got an
or
upgrade
whatever,
in production. Obviously, Willie Waldman just absolutely conking it.
Willie Waldman, Ronnie King.
But ties back. That was a good one to play. Another one to feel like you don't have to pretend who you are. This is who we are.
Yeah.
And you get it or you don't. And a lot of people, thank God, got it.
Hey, speaking of which, that was the first time I ever realized how good musicians worked, like pros.
Yeah.
Because I sang the line of the lead. Because it's a 2-part lead.
Oh, yeah.
Key and horn.
Yep.
And I sang it to Ronnie, one take. And then I sang it to Willie.
They both did it?
And they both like I had the melody of the lead in my head were 2 different instruments. Mm-hmm. And then it takes over. And I remember being able like, whoa. I can just mouth this and you can play it?
Yeah.
Right.
That is nuts. That is a whole nother level of musicianship.
Yeah.
It just, that would have taken me like, where's the tab?
Oh, forever.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that leads us to the next track, Give It Up.
Oh, yes.
Which was so funny because it's like you think about the life of Kona Town, and we started making another record after Kona Town, before Kona Town really saw its true life.
Right.
So it's like, so I know obviously, speaking like we were talking about earlier about Muff being so hopped up on Enema of the State.
I like how you did that.
Yeah.
Hopped up.
Yeah. Literally.
Hopped up.
So pop punk was such a huge thing.
Muff was playing it everywhere because she had a Bose system.
Yes, she did have a Bose system. I remember that.
She worked for Bose.
I know.
Yeah.
She had a Bose system.
The kind that your rich friends' parents would have growing up.
Real
people.
Yeah. And she had that at our house.
I don't know, Todd. Why is the speaker all wet?
So almost writing that as like
almost you don't fit in again.
Yeah. Writing it as like you almost don't fit in again, but here's our kind of like stab at what is fitting in, and making it like that tongue-in-cheek kind of vibe.
Oh yeah,
it worked out so well. Obviously, the original version that you find on the record with the skit and everything, which didn't, because we had an idea about the skit, like even like as the song was being written, that was like a main part of the whole song.
I think you're right. I think you're right because Muff forced us, whether we like it or not, boys, to listen to Blink-182 all day long.
Oh yeah.
Which now I appreciate.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And you said something very important. Pop punk was getting popular.
Yes.
Not punk.
No.
Not what we first found in Hawaii with Momentum.
No.
This is not. That was real punk.
Yeah.
Whatever that wave of punk.
Yeah.
And that was what we fell in love with.
Yeah.
This pop punk shit, it was also hitting the Warped Tour. That was a tougher pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was able to be swallowed because the skits in between the Blink stuff.
Right.
I was not in love with Blink-182 at all.
Right.
I'm being honest.
And it was a tougher pill to swallow too, because going on Warped Tour right before we went into the studio,
they were all trying to rip off Blink.
Yeah.
Which we didn't know.
And it was this like music that was almost the antithesis of us, that was blowing up so hard.
It was
that
goofy,
we were like,
kind of funny music, but they weren't joking.
Yeah.
We were joking.
Yeah.
And Blink-182 was joking. A lot of them
were, which come to find out now, like Blink-182 in retrospect, it's like they were kind of joking about everything they did every step of the way.
That's how I fell in love with them. Which goes back to the skit. You remember, I remember.
This is the joke.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this stuff is popular.
In Muff's apartment after 5 million hours of fucking early Blink, the really jokey stuff.
Yeah.
And seeing exactly, I remember sitting, Adam Broderson had flown over, Lovey Spinoza from Kona, visiting. And you guys, for some reason, ran out of weed.
Yeah.
And you guys were there, and I remember you guys
we were scraping the bong.
Every bong. No, not just the bong. Every pipe, everything. You guys were jonesing so hard.
We're like, that's a kitchen pipe. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, that's a wrong pipe. Just to scrape all the resin out of everything. And you guys ended up getting high.
Yeah.
But that resiny kind of headachy high.
Yeah.
That only lasts a little dirty high. And then you'd go around. But you guys, what you were actually doing, as I sat there for like, I don't know, 40 minutes with an acoustic. I remember because he wasn't there because I couldn't fucking, hey, I need chords. You weren't even there. And they were end up stoners, just some good old boys cleaning the entire apartment, bong by bong, bit by bit, washing the dishes, getting a little bit munchies, eating whatever.
Job.
And the whole time was me staring at Blink-182 posters and being like, a joke. I just remember a long joke. And we kind of talked about it with and within like 40 minutes, that song was done.
Yeah.
And they just clean bongs and things all day.
Yeah, and then the most outlandish shit with the epic skit that Muff was the chick on.
Oh yeah,
she was.
So everyone knows she was really contributing to her career.
When you came back, I think you had fresh ears and were like, "What's this song about?" The skit. Oh, sick! And like I remember you in the studio too. You just nailed the part of it. But the skit was so important for the song.
Yeah,
because it was a complete nothing song to us. It was just a fun.
Yeah.
Joke about this is a joke anyway.
Yeah. And even from like the label side, from Immigart and everyone, they were so hopped up on Faceplant, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think when we were recording it, even they're like, this is going to be the single. This is going to be the single. There's a hit. This is a hit.
It wasn't that one. That's for sure.
So like Give It Up was such like just for fun. It
was a joke.
Like sick. This was a joke song. But then I think Kravac though was like, oh, it's pretty catchy though. Like we should probably definitely lay this thing down. So
I don't remember anything about Kravac on that, maybe because it was probably traumatic or something happened.
Yeah. But I mean, but he tracked it and wanted to put it on the record. You
and
know
we
what I
did
mean?
that whole skit with him, right?
Yeah,
we did the whole skit with him. Which, by the way, he was like,
"Of course, he was.
Yeah,
can lead a horse to water."
Yeah,
but then it's just like I think he understood too radio edits, which I've never heard of.
Right, totally,
or had an understanding of.
Yeah,
better said.
Yeah.
And then that's when Kevin Lyman's like, "Hey, I love this song."
Oh.
But this skit.
Oh, K-Lime got down on it?
Yeah.
Kevin Lyman, I don't think I remember
I remember that. I think on the 2003 Warped Tour, which is the second Warped Tour we went on.
Before In With the Old came out.
Yes.
We already had made In With the Old before Give It Up got played.
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
Because I think basically Volcom was like, okay, cool, you guys made Kona Town. Okay, it's ready for a new album. Like that one did okay. Like did better than your guys' first album Given It. So like now let's make another one. And then we went on, then we went on that Warped Tour. And I remember Lyman that exact time being like, hey, that Give It Up song, man, that's such a great song. I don't know why you guys ruined it by putting that long skit in the middle of it, though.
Kevin, we love you, and you were right.
Yeah.
What a sweet thing. He's just the best.
No, and he's always got the most poignant, just to the, like, just cut to the chase opinions.
But it's a both and, right? Because think about our fans.
Yeah.
And how much that propelled that song. They're like, you got to listen to this song. You got to listen to this song.
Yeah.
Because of the skit.
Totally.
Which we learned, or that I absorbed from, was Blink-182. When you're forced to, hey, there's this new band, or it wasn't new.
Yeah.
You're all day long. And the funniest stuff about like little things built in. They were having fun, and it pertained to the song, but it was fun takes on their story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think Lyman just was coming from such like a more commercial sense of like
both
this is,
right? It's not either or.
No.
Like let's have the skit cut for the radio.
Yeah.
And on the album, you just have the skit.
So and that's why we kind of got to jump forward when we're talking about Give It Up, because so we hear that from Lyman, we're like, oh, right on, well, sick. I'm stoked he listened to the album.
Yeah.
And fucking like gave us
This
that.
is the man.
Yeah, he gave us that sick. Kevin Lyman, obviously founder of Warped Tour, helped
the other bands.
Yeah,
He blew
helped
up so many bands.
helped us and a million other bands with their careers.
Blink-182 still went back to play
Yes.
years later to say thank you to Kevin Lyman.
100%. So anyway, the song and the album come out, and we tour. We do. I think at that point we were touring with Slightly Stupid, both of us in bands, touring little bars, and then we do that 2003 Warped Tour, and we make another record. And then when that record comes out, our Give It Up gets walked into KROQ around 2004-ish.
Yeah, 2004, 2005.
Which is,
which we had just signed to Silverback.
Yeah.
And so what happened is we came up with a radio edit.
Yeah.
John Phillips and Matt from Silverback, they're like, oh, now we have a radio edit?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna walk this thing in. Now you gotta keep in mind, like, it's 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
This album
song
is 2.5
years old.
We have another album out already.
We have another album out already.
Yeah, In With the Old is out already.
Right. And John walks it right into KROQ and says, play this. They play it.
Yeah.
KROQ takes it over. They love it.
Yeah. Jed the Fish.
But simultaneously, the other album's out. Ashes is being spun in Arizona.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
And I think Colorado even or something.
Yes, in Colorado. So like now there's like this kind of like, whoa, wait a minute.
Where's
these Pepper guys from?
Yeah.
Why are they controlling this?
Yeah. And then
which we are not controlling shit.
And then,
but at the time, like back then, you're just like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is this Pepper? What is Pepper?
Yeah. And then of course we're jumping way ahead now, but at that point, then Give It Up really takes off though, and starts doing good just on alternative radio across the whole country. And that's when we start having talks with other record labels.
Was it Flom?
Yeah, Jason Flom from Lava / Atlantic that we ended up signing with ultimately.
But originally the Fire, you have to thank the world famous KROQ for giving
100%
Pepper its first real look. I don't know who did it. I know it's a big team. I know it was played on different, like they were talking about it on like Kevin and Bean, things like, cool. Like, hey, nobody knows this band. We played the Chili Peppers. We played the Offspring. We played all these bands, but like they got behind us and gave us our first real pop.
Yeah.
And they made us feel our own. They had it on the tags. I remember like, welcome to the jungle. You know, it cuts to 5 different songs. It's going to bring you down. Why don't you have some
and of course,
System of a Down? You know, they put it in there and they made it their own. And it was,
well, John Phillips walking it in is the only reason why. Is because his longtime connections with what he did in the past with Sublime is how he got his he's like, hey, I've done this in the past. You want to do this,
and I think,
and then they're like, "You have done this in the past. Let's do this."
Yeah, and I think it was Jed the Fish was the first one because he had that show called, or he had Jed's Fresh Catch.
Oh, okay.
That he would play, and I think he played it, and it blew up on the phones and everything, and became like the highest requested song, this and that, and then that's when things.
We hit some mean stats on.
Because
for a while there was like.
And that's what I remember. We were on tour at the time, and people were calling us back from LA and being like, "Holy shit, they're saying crazy shit about you guys on KROQ. Like these guys are the next blah blah blah." So
that was a day after the van accident where we almost went over the overpass.
Yes,
it was the next day.
Yes,
that we got, and we were on tour with OPM, who had already had a hit. Heaven is a skate park.
Yes.
And Big B.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, what? KROQ's playing it? Oh, see you guys later.
Yeah.
That was because they had a hit on KROQ.
Yes.
They had already blown up. They went touring
Heaven is a
Europe
half pipe.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Not a skate park.
And they freaked us out kind of. They're like, oh, I guess nice knowing you guys.
Nice knowing you guys.
Like if we were going to be beamed up, Scotty. But then you're right. Other labels came and
and there was that surreal moment of like, oh wow, all these labels want to sign us, and like, oh my god, we're like living the real like music band on its first ramp of success ride or whatever you want to call it.
And that almost kind of freaking us out. Remember, every radio festival we had to play, guess what song you had to play?
Yeah.
Give It Up, which is great, but Pepper's never been forced to do anything. Even with Steve Kravac, we're still going to play our songs, brother.
Yeah.
Bring in the horn guy, whatever. But we kind of we're like, oh, we got to play, it becomes part of the deal.
And then we did the video for after it's caught steam on radio. We did, which was funny because we had another record out, which was newer. But we're like, oh, wait, we need to do a video for this song that's blowing up on radio now, which was Give It Up. And then we did the Weird Science video.
Yep, absolutely we did.
And that was probably, well, no, I guess we made too much before that though, too.
That was like a college video.
Yeah, it was like
UCSB.
It was UCSB.
Shout out UCSB.
Kids
it was their art department or something.
Yeah, I can't remember the dudes' names.
I can't remember.
Sorry, dudes,
we love you guys.
We love you guys.
That video is epic.
Yeah,
and you guys really gave us our first music.
I think
video, right?
Yeah, the Fish.
Yeah.
Remember we down-tuned all our guitar strings
to make it look all
so it looked
crazy.
like we were because we didn't know how to do that with. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what do you want?
I'll tell you what. That also. Back to KROQ and that the thing I remember recently is on this last tour we just did with Iration and Day Trippin' in Paradise and all that, playing in New York where we did an edit where they made us the radio edit. There was another radio where they made me take out
Baby, I'm on my knees.
I'm on my knees.
Oh my
God.
Because
you baby couldn't get on your knees.
Yeah.
I had to be on my knees. So we had to recut that and do that.
Yeah, it was like Spinal Tap, Smell the Glove.
It was.
You can't be shoving a glove in her face.
You can't. It has to be your glove that you smell. Yeah. So they made us do that. We're like, why is that?
Clever, but stupid.
Yeah,
but it was
really
worth
a
it.
fine line.
Because how many years later, Kona Town, we're playing there on the Day Trippin' in Paradise. We're playing the Pier 17.
Yep.
And somebody sends us the funny ESPN footage.
Oh,
whatever. Oh, it looks like it's Iration and Pepper and Denim, and they say all the tour names or whatever. What do you think? They're just looking for airtime, and they're showing an aerial shot of the concert. Pier 17 is sick because that's where ESPN is in the venue.
Iration.
Iration. And then this Pepper's like, what do you think about that, Tom? And Tom's like, well, I don't really know much about the tour. I'll tell you, Pepper had a moderate hit back on KROQ.
No, and he bigged up KROQ in New York.
He
He was like, oh, they used to play that every hour on the hour.
And you're hearing it from like Jim Buer.
Yeah.
The freaking late night, just one of the voices you see on ESPN.
Man, so nothing really hits you as hard as the word moderate.
Yeah,
exactly. A moderate hit.
So, yeah, it's also the gift that keeps on giving.